Alright, YouTubers, good afternoon, morning, evening, whatever part of the world that you might be in. Man, I'm listening to Ron Paul talk to Alex Jones, and I used to listen to Alex Jones a lot. But Ron Paul is going to town on him, man, and Alex is basically saying that, hey, look, this guy, Kim Jong-un, he's out of control, he's an evil dictator, that we need to take care of him, and maybe go for the DMZ, which is, the DMZ, if anyone doesn't know what that is, it's basically the demilitarized zone in North Korea, where basically innocent women, children, and people, men, and everybody, that's not in the military, basically. So to think on that level, and to actually feel that violence of any way, of any kind, is the way we need to resort. Let me tell you guys, man. I'm a man who's been blessed with discernment from the Lord. And I use simple logic to break things down. I use my own things that I like and the things that drive my flesh, because I know that I'm a creature that's built upon the flesh, and I know that sometimes my spirit man gets pushed aside by the flesh. The things that my flesh cries out for, the things that I think I need, the things that I think I want. Notice I, and not things that God knows I need, or things that God knows that will help me to fight the battles that I have to fight against the enemies and tyrants of this world. And enemies and tyrants of this world can come in any physical shape or form, any biological entity that's doing the will of the enemy against God. So what I'm saying here is this, man. If your mind's set on evil and your mind's set on the bad fruits of this world, and you're into greed, bitterness, pride, and you're bad with jealousy, and you're raging, and you're an envious person, or maybe you're immoral, corrupt, a pervert of some sort, maybe you're a glutton. Who knows? Whatever it is that separates you from God, whatever takes you down. For me, it was addiction on many levels, but that's not what took me down. I took myself down. I didn't want to participate in reality anymore. Let's just go there. But let's get back on track here. Let's get back to the Kim Jong-un, President Trump ordeal. And what I see happening is just like every other significant event throughout history, and the Bible teaches us anyways. We can go back and use the historical context of why mankind throughout seasons fails and triumphs, and usually when mankind is failing, it's due to their spiritual uncleanliness, and their self-serving nature, a lot of pride, egocentrism, and that's ingrained in our American culture. So we see Kim Jong-un here threatening us, supposedly, yet I never watch I never watch news content from North Korea. I don't know their language. Therefore, I'm going to be honest, I don't have a good grasp on the political standpoints in their language. And that would be good to have the full ability to know what's being dictated from the mouthpieces that govern that country, which I'm not totally familiar with that. But I have to trust in what my government, who tells me through their secret services, Central Intelligence Committee, CIA, Central Intelligence Agencies, all the different police forces and militarized black ops forces and things like that we supposedly need to keep our intelligence at top notch. And that kind of bugs me too. It's like, why do you need such secretiveness? I like things in the light. I like the way the Lord, why hide anything? And it just goes to show that if you're hiring all these people to do all these things and be so covert and secretive, you're hiding things. And to me, that's because you're guilty for something somewhere along the way, and you're trying to keep things a secret. And that could be of any subject. There's a myriad, a plethora, if you will, amount of material out there that I'm sure can prove situations and ongoings that the United States government and the people in the secret services of the United States and those agencies themselves have succumbed to. I'm sure we've done a lot of different black ops, secret budgeted, high-end stuff that even we are not aware of. And that's just what it is. But let's get back to with that in mind, with the power that we do have, and with the military-industrial complex that we have built up, who Eisenhower warned us about into today, which is, by the way, is controlled by the federal government, which, by the way, is owned by private shareholders, which, by the way, are just greedy internationalists who want to stack piles and piles of gold up in secret vaults underground in their mansions worldwide, until they can finally get enough technology behind themselves to live forever, and to establish residences so that when this planned event of depopulation occurs, which is prognosticated and produced by them by their hands, of course, then we will feel everything. But it's not these internationalists, these bankers. They don't have a home, and they don't have a place to go to, and they never. And no, they have plenty of places to go to, and they have plenty of homes. Let me. And their homes are decked out with the most elaborate, illustrious articles of material that anyone can find, and they have the fastest cars and the nicest jets. Okay, these are all man-made materials, but that's just what they have. They control everything. Yet my point is this: like you and I, who hold dear areas and regions that we grew up in. They don't have that same kind of, let me see this. They don't have the same kind of understanding that you and I have. They don't have, a foundation built upon a family life, built upon structure, built upon caring individuals who are working hard to help one another succeed. They didn't grow up to love one another. They grew up in families I would like to say, have you ever watched The Addams Family? Now, imagine the Rothschild people with that same mentality, very dark, sinister, separated group of sociopathic and psychopathic individuals who are literally cannibalistic, pedophilic, and murderous, gluttonous, greedy, perverted people. They hang around with the likes of all the different perverted people, such as what was that guy's name? A famous TV character back then that the Royals used to hang out with, Jimmy, or I don't even remember his last name, but that blonde-haired pervert dude who was just a sicko. He smoked cigars all the time from a European nation. I forget. He was a pedophile too. Jeez, I don't know. Off subject. Anyways, back to the Kim Jong-un Trump thing. Yeah, so what I see here is I see a nation who is not developed and is not a corporate technocracy right now who's trying to take over. It's not an imperialistic-minded nation. They do have, from what I understand from our intelligence agency, from our news media, they do have a leader who's very passionate about being in control of things, let's say. Maybe he's a little bit egocentric himself, maybe a little pride-centered, worshipful master Kim Jong-un, from what I see. And it seems like those people are definitely manipulated. But then again, I think, look at us. Look at our culture. Look at our TV. Look at our images. Look at the things that are passed through our minds that we don't ask for, that do affect us. Look at all these secret technologies, all these things that we're unaware of, the microwaves, and how they fluctuate, interfere with our biological means, how our bodies react, how our bodies function. I'm finding out more and more about these microwaves and how this 5G network that's approaching has the ability to totally be a war machine and to totally cook our minds, literally. And what would stop somebody who's hell-bent on population control from gathering us into small cities, making it seem like this is the great way, this is the way of the future, taking control of our food supply, our energy, our way of life, asking us to completely surrender everything so that we are so comfortable now and so taken aback by this culture and ingrained in it that we forget how to be self-sufficient, how to be faithful, how to ask God to keep us. And it just blows my mind. We don't ask God to keep us. We don't ask God to help us. We don't ask God. Well, I do. I'm not saying I'm perfect either, so don't take that as judgment. I'm just saying I'm trying to live a different life now. And so I'm trying to get my mind off the image. Like in Revelations, John of Patmos says, the end times the image will give the beast its power. And then people are like, what? The image will give the beast its power. Or, what is that? What's the image? Well, to me, I could imagine, because God gave me a fervent imagination, because he's an imaginative creator. And so, the most imaginative. His wisdom is infinite, his paths are untraceable. Stop trying to figure me out. That is the Lord's quote. Anyways, but so what I'm saying in his infinite wisdom and his infinite, we'll say, I can imagine John in his dreamlike state, subdued by the Lord's presence, his spirit, and taken up. And John being in this dream on Patmos, because John was on the island of Patmos at the time, and he was writing Revelations, and the Holy Spirit was upon him. And if you remember, you can read this stuff, and you're just like, what is this? Now, imagine this. This is the vision that God actually, my friends, used to touch the forefathers, and give them visions and dreams, predictions, we'll say. But they're not. They're blessings. God's just providing direction and insight to us through others, through the vessel that he so chooses. So John's dictating to us what's going on in his vision, in his dreamlike state. And I can only imagine what he meant by the image gives it power. Because look at our culture. We're surrounded and bombarded by imagery. Are we not? Are we not? Nike logos are flying through my eyes right now. Adidas, and I've been on Wish today. Gosh, I'm so far. I'm trying to separate myself from the lust. Look at me. I was just telling you, I'm just as bad. So don't take this as judgment. I was on Wish today, looking at all these different things, and the images were just captivating. And I now understand what God was really trying to convey through John. You know, in that vision where I can imagine John in this dreamlike state being swirled around, and God's hand is upon his soul, and God, and he's seeing like people's faces, looking down at the screens and images coming up, or looking up at TVs and images coming up, or just images in general on the walls, on the posters, on the things we're passing. I can imagine in my mind right now passing through grocery stores and how many images I see that I'm captivated by. Me and myself. I was telling my daughter this the other day. I'm going to keep my eyes shut while I remember this, because my memory tends to fade on me, and I blame that on the chemtrails. I really do. But I'm gonna stay in tune with this conversation and jump back to the Trump stuff, guys. So, but like I said, me and my daughter were walking through the aisles, and I'm just like, oh, look, because I don't go out much, and I try to keep myself at home. But I'm walking down Walmart with her, and I'm trying to grab this and that. I said, Haven, I need to stop. This is it exactly. This is what I'm talking about. These corporations make all these products, and these corporations are owned by the same people, these same internationals, these same bankers. We go to work 8 hours a day, bust our ass, get separated from our children, both spiritually and physically, and then they get taken and pushed off, and then told what they have to do from people that they are instructed by, and that we have no control over. Ideologies are being sunk in by teachers, and whether or not we want that to happen, we're trusting in our so-called government, but really our government's taking our kids from us, telling us to go work, and then ridiculing us if we don't have a job. As a matter of fact, some parents even go to jail if they don't live according to the way of this system and the way that the American system has set itself up. Meaning, I want a job. I find myself in the same way. I don't want this house anymore. I want to live outside. I want to go pick out a piece of land, literally, because I have the skill set to have. Let me just rewind this. I have faith in my Lord, first and foremost. That's where this all came from. He changed my heart drastically over the past 2 years. And I feel my calling is to let people know the only way to escape judgment in this last mystery of Babylon era is to turn your back on this culture, this system, this beast system with all these images that suck you in and keep you trapped. And you don't even realize it. You're in a prison with guards that don't have guns. They own companies. And they serve you food through their businesses like McDonald's, Outback Steakhouse, Chili's, or just a plethora of anything. If you're paying taxes onto the tax system, this is the beast system you're paying into, in my opinion. And this is I've done a lot of praying. I've looked at a lot of history, and to me, I feel like this system is satanically driven. Definitely, it keeps us away from God. It keeps us from trusting in Him. And God says, if I can clothe the lilies of the field and feed the birds of the air, surely I can take of you, ye of little faith. So what I'm saying is what happened to the ground, man. Get back to the dirt. Get off the car. Get back on a horse. Stop polluting the world. If you're so concerned about the air, start living faithfully for God. Start helping your neighbor. Start helping the widows and the orphans, those that can't help themselves. Help yourself spiritually by denying yourself the things of this world. The food, guys, the food's being tainted. It's being processed and cut up. Grow your own food. If you're not even growing it, doesn't matter. You don't know what pesticides they're spraying on these. I don't even want to get into all that. See, I delve off into wide varieties of subjects, and we started off with the Kim Jong-un Trump thing. My whole point in all this, though, is don't get trapped by the world and its images. And the whole thing that John was going through, I believe wholeheartedly, was amazing. I lost power from my headphones, and that's what I talk into right now, guys. I'm going to make another video here in a little bit, and we'll continue this conversation. We'll jump back to the Trump, Kim Jong-un thing, and I'll give you some revelation into what I think that's all about, and what North Korea is all about, and how I think that they're not even anything to worry about. And I feel there's just a lot of deception going on right now worldwide. I feel like the geoengineering, the stratospheric aerosol injections, the 5G tech rollout, artificial intelligence, black goo, symbiote, which is a sentient goo, this new goo stuff. It's actually got a consciousness to it. See, what I'm thinking could happen, guys, and we'll get to this too, we're going to touch on this, AI is going to be a conduit for the spiritual. And CERN is involved deeply in this too. So you got to look at the hearts and the minds of people in control of all these things, and in conjunction, there's a lot of witches and warlocks that you don't know about. There's bloodlines that go way back that have been running this world through Satan from ancient times, through the enemy. And I've traced that lineage all the way back. And then one day I just sat there and I said, I want to find where evil started. Where did it originate? And I went way back to Mesopotamia, Sumer, and the cultures on that, in and around those time periods and before that. And then how that stemmed into the whole paganism ideology and theology through Ishtar, and who became Isis, and then all the gods and goddesses that stem from ancient Babylon. That's where they all started, was through Ishtar. Thank you, Ishtar. The Catholic Church actually has a lot of holidays they celebrate. That our people who are called themselves Christians celebrate along with this satanic cult, and who runs the Christian. If you're looking, what I'm trying to say here is, if you're in society and you're looking at the Catholic Church from the outside, and you never had any, we'll call it religious upbringing. I don't like using the term. I'm a religious person. I hate that. I have a relationship. I spend time, and I have a real effort investing in my time with my Lord and my Savior and my Father in heaven. And it says, call no other man father. That's an insult to him. What does the Catholic Church call him? A priest? A father, right? Yeah. They hold the Pope in high regards. The Pope is just another Antichrist. Paul said there'll be many Antichrists in the last days. Henceforth, the succession and revolution of popes that we've seen throughout times past. And that's a whole nother subject matter that I can get off into. That will go into different factions of leadership that run the world through the enemy, and that can happen through Council of Foreign Relations, organizations like the Illuminati, so-called, or the Freemasons, the Bilderberg Group. What else? They had the Trilateral Commission back in the day, the WHO. But you can definitely get a good pick of quality assholes and sick bastards from the Council on Foreign Relations and the Bohemian Grove meetings. If you could go ahead and drop a bird's asshole on one of those people, that'd be great, please. And I mean that. Just drop a big old bird's asshole. If you're a bird and you're flying over the river, please drop an asshole shitball, because those are a bunch of assholes. And I don't mean to use profanity, because I do realize that profanity is a feeble mind. And I probably smoked away most of my brain cells, including my teeth, from all the drugs that I used to participate in. But thank God for His restoration. Thank God for His saving grace. And thank God for this last day's call for me to be the person that's going to come warn people like you. Yeah, I realize that I'm going to be called a hypocrite. I realize that I'm going to be called all kinds of things. But I'm willing to go through it, because that's what I believe in. I'm already hated by my family. I'm already hated. Not my real family. Not my brothers and sisters who worship in truth and spirit outside of the four walls. Those who don't participate in image worship and idol worship. Those who are trying to take control of their body through the power of the Holy Spirit. Those who recognize through weakness we are made strong because we trust in Him. He's infinite. Those who found brokenness brought about grace in their lives, like me. I'm an ex-alcoholic, heroin addict, crackhead, meth head, and an intravenous drug user, piece of trash all around. Liar, manipulator, deceiver, pervert, did things that I never thought I would do for money. So this is going to be a channel that I'm starting today, right now, and it's going to be about all kinds of subject matters. I'm just going to delve off into what God leads me into. And it's going to be some calling out. It's going to be some end times matter stuff. It's going to be some things that we need to discuss as people. Some videos I'll be dressed up and have my teeth in nice. Some videos I won't, because this is who I am, and that's what I feel like. And I want to be natural, and I want you to like me for who I am. I don't want you to like me for who I'm trying to be, or who I'm trying to conform myself to be. I don't believe in all that. I want the Holy Spirit to mold me, and then as I reach out back to society, I'm like iron sharpening iron to whomever or whatever group of people I'm reaching out to. And I believe in the Word. And I just, you'll hear me talk. As I talk, you can tell that I'm close with the Lord, because I don't really remember the addresses per se, but I speak with spiritual fruit. And that's because I've lived a life reading the Word a lot. And I didn't really concentrate on let me memorize where this was or all that. But, and I don't want to get prideful right now, because there's some other things that I did do with my life to help my zeal for the Lord grow, and my wisdom as well. Not just asking Him. That's the first and foremost thing that I recommend. If you want to draw close to the Lord, draw nigh unto Him, and He will draw nigh unto you. I recommend first and foremost that you ask Him to bless you with wisdom and zealousness to love Him. If you don't know how to love Him, do what I did. Say, Lord, I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't know how to love you. I don't even know if I believe in you. This is what I had to do at Teen Challenge, because I didn't even want to go to this place. I had caught a charge for Grand Theft Auto, and I took a court plea where if I go to this Christian rehabilitation program for a year, they'll drop those charges. And I was facing a lot. I was facing some time that time. And thank the Lord for that program. I didn't make it through the whole year. I made it 9.5 months, and the enemy, my problem after becoming sober, and it's been a battle still even to this day, and it's gotten a lot better though. I can very much say that. Some people wouldn't even know that's in me still, but the anger I had for a lot of things that I experienced in life led me down some bad paths. Anyways, guys, I'm going to close this video up. I hope you guys have a good day. Let's just go ahead and I don't think North Korea has anything to do with wanting to blow us up or cause war with us. I really don't. I believe this is just another deception. And you have to understand, guys, there's people out there that desire money more than they want you to live. And there's people, that's all they focus on is money, money, money all day long. And that's what their passion is. They don't even have a home. They could go to France in the morning when they wake up for Brussels sprouts and coffee if they wanted to. I don't know why I said that, Brussels sprouts and coffee. That sounds kind of disgusting, actually. I don't think that's a thing. It just, anyways. But these people have no loyalty. They don't have a family. They have a family. They have a royal family, and there's a lot of them. They're blue bloods. They're royals. But they're what I mean is they don't have a true family that's going to be there to care for them and show a morally righteous way of life, an ethically bound way to deal with people in a very ethical manner. They don't have empathy at all. They'll step on your neck, spit on you, and then literally ask you to pay taxes for them breaking your neck. And I don't know, I'm kind of rambling now. I'm just thinking about what I want to do with this channel and what kind of direction I want to take it in. So if there's anybody that even wants me to take this anywhere, if you're interested in me continuing on and spewing some more knowledge, and if that's the case, send me a comment. I don't even know how to do this yet. I'm going to send this video, I'm going to open it